Well, what's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Chamber Podcast. My name is Rob Johnson. We have a great show for you today, and our guest will certainly get the party going for you at all of your events. Joining me in studio is Rex Streetman. He is the owner of the Rex Effect out of Howell, Michigan. Rex, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, so I can't remember. This is probably the second time I think I've had a DJ on this show. And it's always such a fascinating industry to me because you guys are always working when other people aren't. and it takes a special kind of person to do that.
Yeah, one of the first there and one of the last to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just start back at the beginning. So the Rex Effect, kind of what made you get into this business?
Well, I had this crazy idea about 15 years ago, and went to Ann Arbor with the wife and said, hey, let's go look at some DJ equipment. And we're just going to look.
What prompted that thought, though? Because I was wondering, like, when you're like, hey, let's go look at some DJ equipment, like there had to be a preceding thought to that.
Yeah, it's just something I always thought was interesting, and I always wanted to get into, and was kind of afraid to. I'm not really wasn't really the person to get in front of people, and, we were just speaking about that. And, I just had this crazy idea and thought it'd be fun. A fun hobby. It started off as a hobby.
Okay.
And grown quite quickly.
So then how did it grow from the hobby stage where you're, going and looking at equipment to, 15 years later?
Yeah. Well, like I said, we started out. I went and looked at some equipment, did a couple weddings and got through that. And then I started doing karaoke at the Hamburg pub, just singing, casually. And about 6 months into that, the owner at the time, Rogers Karaoke, he asked me if I wanted to host for him. I'm like, sure, well, that'll be fun, and a little extra money. And 3 years later, September 2015, at the Hamburg pub, they sold. Roger retired. I bought the equipment and started out with one employee. And fast forward 10 years later, I've got more than 10 venues, more than 10 employees, and it's just going crazy.
So I just want to back up. So you said you were just doing karaoke, like you were singing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, do you want to take this over?"
Well, yeah. About literally almost 6 months to the day after I started singing, I never sang karaoke in my life, and we were there one night, and I started singing with somebody, a friend of mine. Oh, come on, you do that, I'll shoot pool with you, because at the time I was on a pool league.
Yeah.
And he said, you start singing karaoke, I'll sing with you, or I'll play pool with you. I'm like, all right, we'll try it.
Yeah.
So a couple months of singing with people before I could, had enough courage to do it myself. And then, 6 months later, the owner asked me if I wanted to host for him, because I already knew everybody there. And so I hosted for three and a half years for him. And then, like I said, he retired in 2015. And I decided to buy the company. I went to the wife and said, I got this crazy idea.
And she's like, yeah, we're browsing karaoke equipment again.
Right, yeah. So, we already had the equipment because I bought the stuff from the Rogers Karaoke.
Yeah.
And so we did it. And like I said, fast forward 10 years, we're 10 plus employees and 10 plus venues. And we're doing everything from music bingo to trivia to photo booths and all kinds of stuff.
I want to get into, shortly, kind of how that space has evolved over the last 10 years. But going back to the karaoke, what was your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, Alabama's Mountain Music. That was my very first song, and I still sing it to this day.
That's a great song. It's a great song.
But I sing everything from all genres. I mean, I'll break out some rap if I have to, some old Vanilla Ice. I'll do some Lil Jon. I'll do Johnny Cash.
We need a video of the Vanilla Ice. We need to insert it into this podcast just for the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, even everything to Johnny Cash. Do country, whatever makes the crowd go. So
that's awesome. So as you got off into the business and you're doing some weddings, you're getting some venues, you're starting to get a little bit of a reputation. I'm sure a lot of the business now is coming from referral sources that you've just worked with for years,
Yep.
right? So then once you are more established, how did the industry change? Obviously in the last 10 years, we've had the pandemic. There's been, I would say, probably a resurgence of more people entering into that space.
Yeah.
So how have you navigated through that?
It did take a little while, so I worked straight up until COVID, and then after COVID, I didn't get right back into it. It was kind of a slow getting back into it, and one bar, then people are still apprehensive, and then today though, I've got a pretty good following, so everybody that used to follow me before started following me to all the different bars. I don't host as much as I used to, but yeah, the resurgence, I guess, is happening. People are coming out and people are having a good time.
Yeah. And then as far as what you offer, so obviously weddings are a big thing. We talked about music bingo, which I didn't know what that was. And it's probably just because I'm not super cool anymore. So I have seen like DJ trivia. I've participated in that before, but between that and music bingo, that sounds like something a lot of bars would gravitate towards.
Yeah. It's been pretty big. It's growing out in this area. Everybody's got standard trivia. We do, like I said, we do speed quizzing, so it's pretty fast paced. You got 10 seconds to answer the questions. You answer it on your phone, and so everybody hooks up, and answers on their phone. The music bingo is a twist on your standard bingo with music titles on the bingo card instead of letters and numbers. And we play an excerpt of the song, about 45 seconds, and then if you have it on your card, you win. It's free to play everywhere you go, and it's fun. It's growing. It's in this area. It's growing pretty quickly.
On DJ trivia, what happens when you catch somebody cheating? You throw them out. You get the bouncer.
So with our program, we can actually see. So they have to actually go off of Wi-Fi and they have to get on my network.
Oh, so they have to use their phone for it.
They use their device. Yeah, you use a phone or tablet, and they have to get off of the whatever Wi-Fi network they're on. They connect to my Wi-Fi network. I create a network, and then I can actually see on my screen when they go off my network. I haven't had any issues with it. People are usually pretty cool about it. It's a free game. You're winning $5. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing too serious. But
yeah, I've only played a couple times, and the first time I played, I was in this bar in Louisville, and it was one of the most competitive atmospheres I've ever been in. And we were not playing for $5.
Right.
It was a lot more money than that.
Yeah.
And everybody was like hawking everybody else, like making sure they weren't cheating. They were eyeing them up.
Yeah, we like to have fun. I mean, it's like, you got to trust that the people aren't cheating. But like I said, we can see if they get off the network and back on. I mean, there's nothing that you can do to really stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, you should have been hosting the one that I was at, because the only team that had fun is the team that won. Everyone else walked away super pissed.
Yeah,
it was a really hostile environment. Yeah, so that was my first exposure to DJ trivia.
There is a lot of that out there. There are some serious competitors, and there's people that do it every day of the week. And like I said, we switched it up. Most people use a company called Oracle. That's like the most common one out there in the bars. We use speed quizzing, so it's a little different. We wanted to bring something different to the area.
Yeah. So, we're sitting here right now. We're almost done with the first month of 2026. When you were planning for this year, what were some of the things that you hope to accomplish in the business?
So this year, like I said, I think we're going to get into dance floors, and we're always looking for more venues and more hosts. So that's where we're going to aim to grow is, more venues, more hosts, and then possibly dance floors, get into more of the rental business side of things.
So this is just my ignorance in the industry overall. So when you say dance floors, does that mean like renting somebody like a floor they can put together?
Yep. Well, it would be a floor. What we're actually looking to do is they have a infinity floor, and it's got LEDs, got infinity mirrors on it, and looks pretty cool. I can control it with my with my lighting controller and stuff like that.
Oh, so you can like cue it to the music?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of the direction we're going.
In my head, I had like a peel and stick vinyl floor in my head of like you just
the old grid. Parquet floor that a lot of that they have at weddings. But yeah, no. So that's kind of where we're going. We're there's always room for growth, and that's the way we're looking for 26.
That's great. And then, what has it been like managing talent? So you said you have 10 to 11 people that you're managing, going to different venues. What's that been like, going from you just doing it by yourself to now here's all these vendors and folks I got to manage?
Well, I tell you, it's been a little crazy because, like I said, I had a full-time job on top of running the DJ business, and but my team has been great. I haven't, it's not like I don't have to fire anybody, so everybody has fun. This is a fun job. This is a fun, cool job. And I have, like I said, I have over 10 employees that work for me, work under me. and I can lean on any one of them to do any event. So it could be a wedding, it could be a corporate party, it could be just hosting a music bingo. I can look to them, and everybody's got their own space, their own bar usually. I do have to move them around, and they're very acceptable to having to move them around, and it's been great. I've had nothing but great employees.
So thinking back on the last 15 years, is there one particular event that you did that you were like, man, it's going to be hard to top how much fun this was?
Well, kind of the highlight is every year I do the music and karaoke for the W4 Country radio station out of Ann Arbor, and they put on a karaoke contest the month of June. We do anywhere between 9 to 12 bars throughout the month of June in different bars, and then we do a big grand finale, and that has probably been the highlight of the karaoke career. We do a lot of corporate events, we just did one a couple weeks ago for Expeditors out of the Detroit Metro Airport, and they put on a pretty good party. It's always fun, man. This has been my fun job for 15 years, and like I said, I recently lost my day job, which was I've been a mechanic for 30 years. And went in on a Monday, and they said, well, Friday was your last day. I'm like, unexpected, but here we are. So I think it was kind of the push, so now it's, I've been talking retirement. I'm still young, and I've been talking retirement with the wife, and here we are. I think it's kind of the push I needed to focus more on the DJ business, even though, like I said, we put in a lot of hours.
For sure. Yeah, that's a lot to manage. Now that you have the daytime aspect opened up, I'm sure that's going to bring a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, like I said, and then keeping everybody where they're supposed to be, and but like I said, most of my guys and girls, they know, they have their own place. I try to keep them at the same venue, so they build a following. So try to keep everybody in the same place.
That's great. So, Rex, if people are listening and they want to know more, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You can reach me, call me, 810-220-9611. You can find me at therexeffectdj.com and on Facebook at Rex's Karaoke / The Rex Effect.
Love it. And we'll make sure all that is in the show notes for the listeners. So if they're driving and couldn't catch that, they'll be able to go back and get it.
Yeah.
Well, Rex, thanks for making the time to come in today, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Chamber Podcast. I certainly appreciate you watching. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode. Have a good day.